Okay, it's going. Well, greetings once again. Third video I'm getting out today. Hopefully I'll be able to get this one out. Sabbath is about to come on us here in another, well, it goes down at 8:48, and it's right now 8:38, so about 10 minutes we're going to have the Sabbath come on us, which is kind of symbolic because when Yahshua returns, it's going to mark 6,000 years that man has been given since the creation, of Adam and Eve, all the way up and until Yahshua's return. Man's only been given 6,000 years to live on the planet. The earth is only 6,000 years old, because if man's been only given 6,000 years to live, to come to the point where Yahshua would come, and then that millennial reign, which many do understand is to be the 7,000 year period, the seventh millennium, I guess you could say. So therefore, the earth, if Adam and Eve was actually created in the first 6 days, and then Yahweh rested on the seventh, then the earth is only 6,000 years old. I don't care if you're a Christian or a Catholic or what you are, whatever religious organization you belong to. If you do believe that Adam and Eve were created in that 6 day period of creation, and then Yahweh rested on the seventh, and of course whether you believe it's Sunday or Tuesday or Thursday or whatever day, or once a month, or you follow a moon, to set the Sabbaths or whatever, it really doesn't matter. If you believe that Adam and Eve were created during that 6 days, and that Yahshua is going to return, and then the 1,000 years he's going to reign on this earth, well, that's kind of what the Sabbath is symbolizing here, because the sun is going down on this day, Friday, the whatever of, I guess July. I guess this might be the 4th of July. How you like that? See, I don't do these pagan festivals, so I don't keep up with them, but as the sun sets on this day, it becomes the Sabbath day. From Friday sundown to Saturday sundown is the Sabbath. And that's what the 1,000 year period of time that Yahshua is going to be ruling on the earth, those that are left from these things that are coming upon us, the judgments of Yahweh, the things we've been just reading and discussing. And for that 1,000 year period of time, Satan's going to be shackled up. She's not going to be able to deceive anymore, to mislead anybody to sin. There won't be sin tolerated or allowed. You're not going to have the option to sin. All you're going to know is these commandments and the laws. But the main fact is I don't care what science tells you or anything of the sort. The scriptures tell you that this earth, even though it doesn't say it right straight out in plain language, this is only 6,000 years old. It does speak of the amount of generations from the time of the creation up until Yahshua's return. It speaks about many different things. There's a lot of people out there that put these things all together using mathematics and everything else, using the lineage. I don't get into the lineage much. I believe that this is true. I've done the studies over 30-some years. When I first had my vision, I was probably 21 or 22 years old. I'm 55 now, so put together the math. I've done a lot of research. Every day I've studied something. So when I prove something is true, I just didn't need all the studies anymore, because I have my foundation, and I don't remember a lot of the books that I found things out, like where Satan is a woman. Okay, but if you look in the Sistine Chapel and you take a look up there on the ceiling, you'll see in several spots where Satan is depicted as half snake and half woman, shows her breasts and everything. Those people knew it just a few hundred years ago. And they also knew Yahshua's name for the most part, because the letter J wasn't invented until about 300 years ago. And that's when Yahshua had his imposter counterpart introduced as Jesus. Jesus was not Yahshua 2,000 years ago. There was not a single Mexican that had the name Jesus or Jesus 300 years ago. those names never came about until 300 years ago. There was no letter J. There was no Julius Caesar. He was Augustus. But anyway, we were talking about that fifth Malik that had sounded his trumpet. Star came crashing down, was given the key to the shaft of the abyss. The abyss was open. There was smoke that came, blocked the sun and the sky. And out of there came locusts on the earth, and they were given power like that of scorpions. So these locusts have a power like scorpions. I'm not quite certain what that's speaking of. If you know, I'd sure like to hear it. But, you know, at the same token, I'm going to do the same thing as you do. I'm going to study it out. If it doesn't feel right to me in my heart where Yahshua dwells, if I'm not given the knowing that what you say is true, well, I'm most likely not going to believe it. But you can believe whatever you want. I just want the truth. Revelation 9:4, they were told not to harm the grass of the earth or any plant or tree, but only those people who did not have the seal of Yahweh on their forehead. So, as I explained in the other video, you have the 144,000 that have been sealed. They're the ones called out, basically the first into the harvest, and were offered a price of a penny a day. And then as these things go on, more and more people are going to become aware, because they're going to see the horrors coming on the earth and say, man, why in the world are they coming? Well, don't let anybody think that they're coming from Satan, because they're not. These are what Yahweh is bringing through his son Yahshua Messiah. And these are judgments for the fornications, the adulteries, the thefts, the breaking of the covenant which Yahshua became. His own blood ratified and enacted that new covenant or renewed covenant. And what the covenant is that most people don't even realize, it's the law that's being written in your heart. The commandments are written in your heart. That's what the covenant is. That's why Yahshua shed his blood, but yet you got all these lying preachers out there telling you, oh no, to hell with that covenant. To hell with Yahshua. Okay? You break those commandments, you break those laws, because that's what you're supposed to do so you can get grace. And remember, don't drink any wine, only drink grape juice, because that's what God drank. These things come out from underneath horses' tails. That's what they're speaking and feeding to the hungry. They're all lies, so I suggest that you pull out your own Bible and start reading what it says. Revelation 9:6, during those days, people will seek death. They're going to want to die. They're probably jump off a cliff and still survive. Broken arms or whatever, but they may lay there, you know, just wanting to die so bad, but they're not going to be able to. During those days, people will seek death, but will not find it. They will long to die, but death will elude them. And of course, you know, the reason this is because they haven't heard, or at least they haven't believed, if they did hear, the truth that's in the scriptures. They don't know who Yahshua is. I'm here all alone. All my friends have left me for the most part. I've got two friends that live down the road, but you know, she's like 70 years old and he works a lot, so they don't come over all that much. It's kind of difficult for her to get up the stairs here anyway. Of course, she's in great health. I mean, spunky and spry. She looks like she's, you know, 40 years old, maybe 39. Wonderful people, you know, and they love Yahweh. They love Yahshua, but they don't always do things that I see are correct. And of course, they see me doing things that they disagree with at times as well. But we don't judge each other. It's like, you know, I know that Yahweh is working through Yahshua, and Yahshua is working with them to bring them to where he wants them to be. It's not like they're rejecting laws. They just see things about the laws in a different light than I do. You know, so we're all on the same path, and even if they were my enemy, I'd still have to love them, which means I have to keep the law toward them. But anyway, I sit here all alone, and I don't concern myself with death at all. I've prayed for it many times, you know, but it hasn't come to me either. But anyway, here, and times are going to be so bad, people are going to want to die. Revelation 9:7. The locusts looked like horses prepared for battle. On their heads they wore something like crowns of gold, and their faces resembled human faces. Their hair was like woman's hair and their teeth like lion's teeth. They had breastplates like breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was like the thundering of many horses and chariots rushing into battle. They had tails with stingers like scorpions, and in their tails they had power to torment people for 5 months. They had as king over them the Malik of the Abyss, whose Hebrew name is Abaddon, and in Greek is Apollyon. That is the destroyer. Now, what I'd like you to think, because this here tape is about to end, but it talks about these armies of the horses, and if you ever watched a movie where all these horses are coming in, and it's kind of like, that Indiana, was it Indiana Jones? Where they're up there and they're flying in an airplane. Yeah, I think it's Indiana Jones, and he's shooting this 50 caliber machine gun into this cloud, the mummy, that's what it is. And the cloud opens up its mouth, and you can see the bullets hitting it, and he finally gobbles up the plane. But anyway, that's the dust that comes in from some of the battles I've seen in movies, from hundreds of thousands of horses running into battle, and it's got all this stuff, and that's what Scripture's talking about is going to be coming, is something of that sort. Now, if you would think about that, what do they call that? That pyroclastic. It comes from a volcano, and when you got the lava that's sitting on the brim, and then it falls and collapses and just blows up into this dust, it looks like it's an army of hundreds of thousands of horses coming, and it's going, anywhere from 200 to 800 miles an hour across the land, devouring everything in its path, 800 plus degrees, and it's just tearing things apart. It's like getting stung with a scorpion when it hits you. So think about those things. It may be a volcano that it's talking about right here, because all that smoke and everything that came out of it when that star slammed into it. Opened up the abyss, and who knows, maybe that's Yellowstone Park, maybe it's, that volcano in Indonesia, maybe it's a combination of both, or all of these that go off at the same time. I'm not certain, but be sure of one thing, it is to come. Whatever this is, it's coming. So be prepared, and that's all I'm doing. I'm trying to share the message of joy with you and of peace, and I pray that you hear the words and apply them into your life. I don't want to be your ruler. Don't be sending me your money and your problems. Your questions, sure. If I can answer them, I'll do so, but I'm not your leader. All I want to be is your brother. So through Yahshua Messiah, and I do thank you, Father Yahweh, through Yahshua Messiah for this marvelous Sabbath day that you've given us, and I pray that it be more of a delight than the last one that was so delightful I didn't know what to do with myself. But I pray that you'll all join me there on the Sabbath from now on. I pray you'll do the research and to discover that, indeed, the Sabbath is to be kept. So until next time, I say to you, peace of Yahshua be upon you, and may you understand his every word.